Okay, so we've got an assignment here where we have to create 3 palettes. I have specific ways I want this done because it's going to make it easier for everybody to analyze it, to critique it, to look at it, so we're all on the same page. So let's take a look and see just how we can do this. Now they've provided us with a template, right? This is in Photoshop. And that's fine, except we want to alter this template a little bit. Here's the color wheel I want you to use, okay? We want to have that color wheel placed underneath each one of these with marking the colors so that we don't have to guess at your particular color schemes. Now, the best site that you can access is this tigercolor.com. I've given you the link to that. This talks about the color wheel, the primary, secondary, warm, cool, tint, shades, tones, color harmonies, complementary, triadic, split complementary, etc. All the ones you're going to need for this course. And you can actually even go through and click through here. The only problem with these wheels, they're fantastic for showing you basic descriptions of what these different schemes are, but they don't include the tints and tones. And that is why I like my color wheel here. Now, how am I going to pick from this wheel to do this little exercise? Well, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure white's in the background, and I'm going to make a bigger canvas. Okay, canvas size, I'm going to select that top left. I'm going to make this, I better make this, I'm going to make it 1000. Okay, and I'm going to make it 600. Let's see how that looks. Beautiful. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, select all, copy, come over here, and I'm going to put in a big wheel in here that I can pick from, right? I should probably make my canvas a little bit bigger to fit this on there, but you know what? I'm not gonna. There, that's big enough. Okay. Now, look at my layers here. Now, remember the assignment calls for. I can get rid of that. The assignment calls for tetradic or triadic. So I'm going to do a triadic color scheme. Okay. And then I'm also going to label this this is complementary. Complementary, not complement, complement. Okay, and then finally I'm going to do my own color scheme. I might do actually no, this isn't complementary, this is dissonance. Dissonance. Did I spell that right? Dissonance. And I'm going to make that one analogous. Analogous. Because this is open. This is your choice. Okay, triadic color scheme. That means you're going to be using colors that are in the triad, right? Like red, blue, yellow, or violet. You have to go over violet, and green, and orange, right? So let me just pick red, blue, and yellow because that's just easiest for me right now just to look at these three. Remember, I'm going to mark these, boom, boom, boom. But I also want to use all the tints and tones and shades and things to get a palette. So the first thing I do is select my background layer, go over here and select this with my magic wand. And is the tolerance set too high? Nah, I guess not. Okay, so it selected that. Now I want to select my color. Now we did this previously, right? And I'm going to select that with, the full saturation. All right. Let me go and select this next one. I might as well do my reds, right? And let me go over here and select this. What was eyedropper? Was it eye? Right? I think it was I, yeah. And did I get this one yet? Right? Now I can always bring up my hue saturation and take down my saturation, right? So I've already got the first line on my triadic color scheme. Second line, okay? I'm going to pick red. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, boom. There's my blue. Ready? 1, 2, 3, boom. There's my yellow. 1, 2, 3, boom. I'm back to red. So I'm going to pick my blue. I'm going to continue doing this. Let me continue doing this. I'll do the red and or the blue and the yellow here. Okay, so I'm gonna pick another blue. Let me just pick a gray blue in there. Pick over here. Do y'all see? I don't have to go through and do all of these, right? You see how I'm filling these in. I'm going to do my blues. I can do my yellow over here. I can do my yellow, right, which looks green, but we know that it's just the tint, the tone, and the shade, right? Let's go ahead and put the pure yellow in there. I'm going to continue on with my Triadic palette. I'm going to do red, blue, yellow, and then I can do some. Maybe I can do some of the real dark colors for that last one. For example, you might be going, well, what do I do for that last? Thank you. What do I do for that last color? Well, this is where you bring up your hue, saturation. Don't change your hue, but you can change your lightness, right? How about doing the bottoms in pinks, right? Or in tints. Now, what about dissonance? So what is dissonance? Complements, split complements, colors that clash, right? So I'm going to select here, and well, actually before I do that, let me go over here to my color wheel. I'm going to copy it over. I'm going to reduce it in size. I'm going to make it nice and small. And you know, while I'm at it, I'm going to do 2 more so that I can have my color wheels ready. And I want to mark this one. I'm going to create a new layer just so I have my marks on there. I am going to make a nice small little, this was Triadic, so I'm going to do red, blue, and yellow. See, I'm trying to stay, the same distance from there. Okay, what about dissonance? I have to pick a dissonant color. Let's see here. If I was smart, I would pull my guides down, right? So my color wheel's lined up. Beautiful. I think I'll do split complements. Let me try that. So I am going to pick dissonance here. Oh, got to be on that background layer. Dissonance. And I'll go ahead and pick red again. Okay. And how about something red go across? Let me go over to my split complement there. Okay. And then I'm going to go over onto my other side. Blue-green, supposedly, is going to be dissonant. I don't know. That doesn't look that dissonant to me. I don't know. Let me go over and just pick a color. There we go. Picked a color at random. I want colors that kind of clash, right? So I have to look around. Maybe I'm going to pick a yellow, and I'll show you a little trick over here. I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to bring up my hue saturation, and I'm going to bump up the saturation. You don't see it so much there, but let's go ahead and do like maybe a yellow-orange, something like that, right? But let me bring up my hue saturation. I want to pump up the saturation. I can also, if I want, I don't think I want to tint it up too much. No. What would be the opposite of orange? Something green. I'd love to get like a yellow-green in there. Let's get that in there. Let's bring up our hue saturation. I'm going to pump these up as well. I want to get juicy, bright, saturated colors that clash. And there's also desaturated colors that would clash. Right now I'm just kind of jamming along, trying to get these in here so that I have a palette to work with. Let me throw in a blue in there. Okay, that blue doesn't look that clashy, does it? Let's pump up the saturation. Let's pump up the tint a little bit. I want kind of a juicy looking blue in there. How about that? Alright. So I'm going to keep doing that, getting colors that clash in there. Okay. Finally, I want to do my analogous colors. Now on dissonance, how am I going to mark? I haven't been keeping track of my colors. How am I going to mark these colors in here? If I was smart, I'd be working with a split complementary color scheme, and I would be marking these. Let me go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and do that. If I can remember what it was, I believe I was doing kind of a split complementary color scheme, and I would probably start saying, let's see, I had some purples in there going across to my comps and using my split comps. I want to make sure that there we go. Whoops, got too many going in there. I'm also marking it with purple. Hold on. One thing I wasn't doing, let me turn this to black again. One thing I wasn't doing is I had to make sure this layer was on the top. I'm going to redo these. I think I would, and I want to turn off my guides because they're just making my little dots stick to them. I'm thinking my strategy here is combining a number of split comp color schemes. So I'm going to be playing with those. I'm also going to be playing with a number of these. So you can see that I'm marking a lot of these colors in here. I probably would, in my written component, talk about how I was trying to select from complements and split complements for this scheme, right? I don't know. This isn't very useful here. This is much more useful to somebody that's trying to figure out, you know, exactly what you're doing there and save them some time, right? Analogous colors. Let's jump back down to our background, and what we're going to do is we're going to be selecting our analogous colors. So in this case, I might want, you know, my violet. Remember, I don't want to go too far over. Looks like I'm doing warms today, but maybe, well, yeah, I guess I will do warms. I kind of want to be strategic, right? I mean, I don't want to start going over into the cools and having the warms and cools all mixed up in there. And I might go one more over. Remember, I can play with my tints and tones and shades and things. So basically, I'm going to be working in this area, right, with my colors. Staying within those three. This is going to be a nice earthy palette. I might use this. Remember, we're going to use one of these palettes in our next design, and you know, I might want to start picking the one that's really, you know, coming out to me, that's speaking to me. So let me turn off that wheel. Let me drag this one over, place it, turn my guides back on. Okay, hide those guides again, and I'm going to mark. I believe I had picked violet. There we go. Okay, so now people can look at this and see which colors I was picking from, I should say. Okay, the last thing you'd want to do here is crop it, select, image, crop, and then a file save for web as a high quality JPEG. Something to keep in mind as we review this assignment, you know, I was kind of flying through there. If I was going to redo it again, that didn't take me very long, remember. Now, if I wanted to redo it, I think I would start organizing them according to hue, value, and saturation, okay, so that they're organized. Read your assignment 2 here, where they're talking about, you know, the ranges of value, saturation. There's a lot of different, you know, possibilities for creating these palettes. And then finally, you know, in the next assignment, we're going to be picking one of those palettes and using it for your design. So what we're going to be doing then is actually, and I can actually go through this in another tutorial, what I would do is I would flatten this, and I would say, okay, and I would take this palette, okay, and when I did File New for my new assignment, actually I might make this 900. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in my palette, which would be completed at that point, and put it down here, and then I would create my design above it, picking from these colors. Okay, does that make sense? Finally, I'll give you the link to an on-ground color theory course I wrote, where we actually looked at game art environments, and you can actually look through and see what some of these student works look like with the palettes next to them, and you can actually see kind of maybe some other interpretations of adding a palette to your